Hello, hello. Welcome back, everyone, to another week of solo raids. And just want to make sure, do a quick recap, and let everybody know this is a guide meant for people who are trying to get their top 200 badge, uh, and possibly also for people who are trying to get the top one first place badge, best time of the week. So what we do is we go through each portal individually. I open the portal, I look through the information, I look through the decks, and then I proceed to attack the Titan. And then after that, you can go ahead and pause the video and do it yourself. That way you know exactly what you want to do. You don't have to waste any time looking through all the information and checking all the decks to see what you want to use. You can already know exactly what you want to do and do it as fast as possible. So the first thing we're going to do is go to our settings and turn off our raid retry. And we're going to go ahead and start. Alright, so we're not going to skip. There we go. So our first Titan is a LoJack, and there's no info yet. There's only 3 decks. We've got Moonbeam, Acid Drench, and Blazing Inferno. So we'll go with Moonbeam. And since the first Titans don't have any armor, you just basically do as much damage as you can to the Titan as fast as you can. That's Portal 1. We can move on to Portal 2. We got another LoJack. Our decks are Cosmic Haymaker, Psychic Chain, and Thriving Plague. I think I'm going to go with Psychic Chain. Thriving Plague is good here, but it just the amount of time it takes for it to proc, it's just faster to go with a burst card, in my opinion. There we go. And moving on to our next portal, Portal 3. We've got another LoJack, and we've got Fusion Bomb, Psychic Chain, and Decaying Strike. I'm going to go Psychic Chain again. LoJack's one of those Titans that you have to take down pretty much every part, so it's good to have a limb deck or a limb card, because 6 out of 8 parts is limbs. And our Portal 4, we've got a Juck. Our decks are Swarm, Moonbeam, and Skull Bash. I think I'll go with Skull Bash. Yeah, it's my strongest burst card right now. And the head and the torso on Juck are the exact same amount of HP. There we go. Go ahead and continue on to Portal 5. We've got LoJack. Our decks are Moonbeam, Torso, Victory March Haymaker, Razorwind Totem, and Clanship Barrage Totem. I think I'm going to go with deck 3, Razorwind Totem. Probably won't need the fairies very much, but if we can get the fairies to land on the torso, we'll go ahead and use them up. And the head, and then we just use the damage from Razorwind to finish off the limbs. Okay, moving on to Portal 6. We got a Mohawka. Our decks are Clanship Barrage Razorwind, Victory March Haymaker, Victory March Psychic Chain, and Decaying Strike Whip. I'm going to go with Victory March Psychic Chain. We can start by taking down all the limb parts and finish off on the head, and that'll make sure we get as much benefit as possible from Victory March. There we go. We can move on to Portal 7 now. We've got another Juck. For our decks, we've got Ancestral Favor with Razorwind, Clanship Barrage Razorwind, Victory March Torso, and Clanship Barrage Victory March. I'm going to go with deck 1, Ancestral Favor with Razorwind. We start on the head, move down to the torso, and then finish off the legs. Nice. And we can move on to our next portal. For Portal 8, we have a Tarot. Our decks are Purifying Blast with Acid Drench, Ancestral Favor, Razorwind, Clanship Barrage Razorwind, and Head Focus. I'm going to go with, again, Ancestral Favor, Razorwind. Start on the head, move down to the torso, and then the leg, and we're good. We can move on now. Portal 9. We've got LoJack. Our decks are Torso Focus, Ancestral Favor Razorwind, Clanship Barrage Razorwind, and Swarm Whip. I'm going to go with deck 2, Ancestral Favor Razorwind. Typically, I go with the deck that I feel like is the best option for one hit or one attack kill, because it's particularly when you're going for a good time, you want to do it in one kill to save the time of the transitioning and opening a new portal. It's faster. All right, go Portal 10. We've got Taro as our first Armored Titan, so we have to pay attention to that. Our decks are Fusion Bomb with Body Focus, Gas with Grim, Torso Focus, Ancestral Favor with Razorwind, and Clanship Barrage with Razorwind. I'm going to go with deck 4 again, Ancestral Favor with Razorwind, and do the burst pattern again, which is just head, torso, and one leg. We'll be able to cut through that armor because Ancestral Favor's burst bonus is neutral. It doesn't specify armor or body. It just is a neutral boost to all bursts. And even though Razorwind is specifically for body, it still does enough damage to take down that armor. So on to Mahaka. Our next portal, which is Portal 11. Our decks are Flak with Psychic Chain, Body with Swarm, Clanship Barrage Razorwind, Moonbeam with Totem, and we got Armor Focus. I think probably our best bet here is to go with deck 3. With Mahaka, we'll have to ramp up Clanship Barrage, but it does have neutral damage, so we don't have to worry about it not being able to take down the armor. And then once the armor is down, Razorwind will finish off whatever's left. There we go. Alrighty, moving on to Portal 12. We've got LoJack. Our decks are Purifying Blast, Acid Drench, Ancestral Favor Razorwind, Radioactivity with Prism, Moonbeam with Totem, and Head Focus. I'm going to go with deck 2 again, Ancestral Favor with Razorwind. There we go. Take down the head and each limb part. We can leave one arm part. I usually end up leaving the shoulder. There we go. Can move on now to portal number 13. We've got a Sterile, and our decks are Fuse with Body Focus, Psychic Chain, Limb Focus, Swarm with Whip, Ancestral Favor with Fragmentize, and Victory March with Moonbeam. I think I'll go Victory March with Moonbeam. The damage of Moonbeam alone will be enough to take down Sterile's limbs, and then by then we'll have a good damage boost from Victory March. And also Moonbeam will really help to take down the torso because of the body or the torso focus damage. At this point, our Victory March is getting ramped up pretty good. We gotta get the burst to proc though, and we can just ignore the head. Oh my word, is this gonna be a 2-decker? Wow. Had a lot of trouble with the burst not going off there. Yeah, okay, so in retrospect that might have not have been the best deck for that. Let me just take a second look at my decks and see what we could have used. That would have been better. I think since Victory March took so long to go off, it might have been better with 4 or 1. Probably 4. I think 4 would have been best. And then with 4, instead of going for all the limbs and then the torso, just go for one arm part, the leg, torso, and head instead of ignoring the head. But anyway, let's finish this bad boy off. What we got? Go 4. We get the neutral buff from Ancestral Favor, so it won't matter that Fragmentize isn't meant for body. Yeah, I don't know what I was thinking. I definitely should have gone with this deck instead of Moonbeam Victory March. That was my bad. So yeah, for Portal 13, go with Ancestral Favor and Fragmentize. That's much better than Moonbeam with Victor March. Alright, moving on. This is Portal 15, 14. We got Attack Dar. We got Frag with Psychic Chain. We've got Swarm with Whip, Victor March Haymaker, Victor March Razorwind, and Skull Bash with Prism. Okay. I like to have support card, but it doesn't look like we have a good one. I'm not falling into the Victor March trap again. That was awful. So I guess we'll just go with Fragmentize with Psychic Chain. No, that's... I'm going to try Swarm with Whip. I don't know. This is a tough one. That's 1 or 2. I'm going to go 2 and see how that does it. As long as we keep those stacks on there, Whip will get a lot of procs. I want to try and get those stacks to stay on. Okay, well, it's going to slow down big time now because we only got 3 parts. There we go. We did alright. And we can move on to Portal 15. For 15, we've got another Attack Dar. Our decks are Clanship, Barrage, Razorwind, Thriving Plague with Gas, Gas, Maelstrom, and Swarm, Gas, Acid Splash and Swarm, or Acid Drench and Swarm. We got Armor with Limb, and then a full armor deck. I think deck 3's... Yeah, I'm going to go deck 3, Gas, Maelstrom, Swarm. I think that just does it better. And we'll try to focus down the head and the torso over the other ones because it should be... wow, that's dying so fast. I wasn't expecting that. That was pretty good. Yeah, I like that. That worked well. Alright, moving on to Portal 16. We got Mohaka. Our decks are Fuse, Prism, Swarm, Ancestral Favor, Torso Focus, Purifying Blast, Body Focus, Head Focus with Haymaker, Limb Focus with Decaying Strike, and Whip with Prismatic Rift and Blazing Inferno. I think we go... I think we go Purifying Blast, Acid Drench, and Inspiring Force. We will have to chew through a little bit of armor, but Purifying Blast is strong enough. It shouldn't be too hard. Whenever the Purifying Blast takes forever to proc, it usually wastes a good chunk of damage because that last hit on the armor gets cut down to the amount of the armor that you have left. So whether you've got 5 stacks or 10 stacks, it still does the same amount of damage. So it's good if it procs sooner rather than later. Alright, moving on to our next portal, we've got Sterile. And this is, I believe, Portal 17. Yeah, we still don't have any info yet. So let's look at our decks. We got Gas, Acid Drench, Swarm, Ancestral Favor, Clanship, Barrage, Razorwind. Same thing with Fragmentize. We got Limb Focus with Armor, Limb Focus with Decaying Strike, and we got Victor March Haymaker, Body Focus. So I'm going to go Ancestral Favor, Clanship, Barrage, Razorwind. Focus down hand, leg, torso, head. I'll probably do the head before I do the torso. Excuse me. There we go. Not bad. There we go. We can move on to our next portal. Our next portal is 18. And looking at 18, we got a Mohaka. Our decks are Fuse, Gas, Swarm, Ancestral Favor, Clanship, Barrage, Flak, Ancestral Favor, Torso Focus, Purifying Blast, Body Focus, Limb Focus with Decaying Strike, and Thriving Plague with Blazing Inferno. I'm going to go with Ancestral Favor, Clanship, Barrage, Flak. Focus down the arm parts. With the armor gone, we know Flak can take down the body by itself usually, especially at the early levels of the solo raids. There we go. And now we can go ahead and move on to our Portal 19. We've got Attack Dar. Our decks are Fuse, Gas, Swarm, Gas, Maelstrom, Swarm. We got Ancestral Favor, Clinch, Barrage, Flak. Same thing with Fragmentize, Ancestral Favor, Head Focus, and Whip, Prismatic Rift, Blazing Inferno. I'm going to go deck 2, Gas, Maelstrom, Swarm. It was a lot faster than I expected it to be the last time I used it, so give it another shot and see how it works. I was actually kind of impressed with how fast it was. And yeah, it's going fast again. I love it. That's fantastic. That's great. 13 seconds on the Tactar. I love it. Great. All right, we can move on. Our next portal is Portal 20. We got some info now. At 20, you start the buffs and debuffs. So we got a debuff this time. It's 80% affliction chance. So if we can avoid afflictions, that'll be better. Deck 1, Fuse, Gas, Swarm. Deck 2 is Body Focus with Grim. Deck 3 is Clanship Barrage, Ancestral Favor, Flak. 4 is Purifying Blast with Body Focus. 5 is All Armor Focus. 6 is Totem with Torso Focus. And 7 is Limb Focus with Decaying Strike. I'm going to go with Deck 3. Deck 3 will focus down the Limb Armor first and let Flak finish off the body. There we go. Work on that head armor, switch to the body, let Flak do its job, finish off the head, and then the torso, and we're good. Nice. Alright, we can move on to portal number 21. It looks like it's a Mohaka. Our info is 40% affliction chance increase. That's good. We got Fuse, Gas, Swarm, Fuse, Prismatic Rift, Swarm, Armor with Limb, Head Focus with Haymaker, Victory March, Clinch, Barrage, Razor Wind, Totem with Purifying Blast, and Whip, Prismatic Rift, Blazing Inferno. I'm going to go ahead and go with deck 1. Was it 1? Yeah. I think 1 is our best bet here for a one-hit kill. I'll go with 1. Make sure to get that stack down on the head and the legs. As far as the arms go, you can just kind of go over them. But you got to make sure those stacks get down on the head and the legs. Oh man, I messed that up. There we go. Nice. We can move on to our next portal, Portal 22. And we got a Sterile. Our info is minus 20% leg damage, so the legs will be harder to kill. We can avoid the leg instead and go 2 arm parts on one side and 1 arm part on the other, torso head. Let's look at what we got. Fuse, Prism, Swarm, Ancestral Favor, Clinch, Barrage, Moonbeam. That's a really good one for this one. We got Purifying Blast of Body, Limb Focus with Decaying Strike, Victory March, Haymaker, Body Focus, Thriving Plague, Limb Focus, and Whip with Blazing Inferno and Armor Focus. I'm going to go with deck 2. With deck 2, we can focus down 3 arm parts and then move on to the head and then the torso. There we go. And we completely avoided the debuff. Great. We can move on to Portal 23. For Portal 23, we got a LoJack. Our info is 10% increase to support effects. So let's look at our decks. We got Ancestral Favor, Clanship Barrage, Moonbeam, Gas, Thriving Plague, Swarm, Ancestral Favor, Clanship Barrage, Razor Wind, Totem with Torso Focus, Purifying Blast with Totem, Thriving Plague with Limb Focus, and Whip with Blazing Inferno and Armor Focus. And it was a support effect increase. So we Ancestral Favor and Rancid Gas both get double buffs. So this is a Psycho Titan. We'll go ahead and go with deck 2. I think it's probably our best bet here. Just make sure to get those stacks of Thriving Plague on the torso and head. And then you can go ahead and just kind of cycle around. There we go. No problem. Make sure you focus down hard on the torso and the head because the limbs die fast anyway, and you can just kind of get a stack or 2 of Swarm on them and leave them alone. All right, next portal 24. We got Mohaka. Our info is limb health increased by 50%. Alright, so we probably can kill Mohaka with just like 4 or 5 limb parts. So we got Body Focus with Grim Shadow, we got Victory March with Grim Shadow, we got Purifying Blast with Totem, we got Limb Focus with Decaying Strike, Victory March with Haymaker and Body Focus, and we got Thriving Plague with Limb, and Thriving Plague, Blazing Inferno, Gas. I'm going to go with deck 6, Thriving Plague with Limb. I'm pretty sure we don't have to touch the head. We might be doing a little bit of overkill if we focus all the limb parts, but that's okay because it gives Thriving Plague a big boost to focus more than 4 or 5 parts. There we go. Nice. Alright, moving on to portal number 25. We've got another Mohaka. Our info is burst chance increased by 25%. Our decks are Fuse, Prism, and Swarm, Purifying Blast, Body Focus, Head Focus with Haymaker, All Armor Focus, Ancestral Favor, Head Focus, Limb Focus with Decaying Strike, and Thriving Plague, Blazing Inferno with Gas. Burst chance is increased. We have a good bursty deck, and we don't seem to have a decent. I think 6 would probably be all right. But we do need to do some damage to that head, so I think probably our best bet here would be to go with deck 7. We won't get to use the buff, but there's no debuff, so it's okay. Make sure to get the Thriving Plague stacks on the head and the legs. Doesn't matter as much with the limbs. Sorry, with the arm parts. You do want to get it on the head and the legs though, because once you get the Thriving Plague stacks down on the arms, they die really fast. Alright, moving on to portal number 26. Our Titan is Lowjack. Our info is 20% decrease to arm damage. Alright, got Gas, Fuse, and Swarm. Body Focus with Grim, Ancestral Favor, Clanship, Barrage, and Flak. Same thing with Skull Bash. We got Armor with Limb Focus, another Armor with Limb Focus, and a pure Limb Focus deck. We'll go with deck 3, Ancestral Favor, Clanship, Barrage, Flak. We're doing less damage to the limbs, so we will want to remember that when we're taking down the... Oh man, we gotta take these ones down first. There we go. Debuff's gone. And there we go. 20-second takedown on Lowjack. We can move on to portal number 27. We've got Juck. Our info is 20% increased damage to armor. Our decks are Limb with Armor, Victory March with Grim, Victory March Clanship, Barrage, Razorwind, Totem with Torso, Totem with Purifying Blast, Ancestral Favor with Head Focus, and Limb Focus. So for Juck, we can do it. What was our Totem deck? Yeah, let's do Totem, Purifying Blast, because with Juck we only have to do 4 parts, which is 3 trenchers. We'll do the torso first. There we go. Knock it out nice and quick. Get some stacks on the head, and then move to the legs. Hopefully we get some fairies going here. Come on. There we go. We got it. Now I can go ahead and move on to portal number 28. It's Takdar. Our info is 50% increase to limb health. Our decks are Fuse with Gas and Swarm, Fuse with Prismatic Rift and Swarm, Ancestral Favor with Torso Focus, Purifying Blast with Body Focus, Victory March with Grim, Ancestral Favor with Head Focus, and Thriving Plague, Blazing Inferno, and Rancid Gas. It was limb health increase. Okay. Alright, yeah, let me check my recording. Yeah, we're good. Go ahead and do deck number 7. That's what I'll use. And we'll focus down, make sure to get the stacks of Thriving Plague on the head and the torso. And then we'll just kind of cycle over the rest of it and get those Blazing Inferno stacks on there. Make sure you get your Thriving Plague stacks on the legs too, because it'll take a little longer to kill than the limbs, or the arms. Go. There we go. No problem. And we can move on to our next portal, Portal 29. We've got Mohaka. Our decks are Gas, Maelstrom, Thriving Plague, Ancestral Favor, Clinch, Barrage, Flak, Decaying Strike, Gas, and Swarm. We've got Armor with Limb, Totem with Purifying Blast, Limb Focus, and Victor March Haymaker Body Focus. I'm going to go deck 1 again. I think, what was the info? Body damage increase. Yeah, I'm going to go deck 1. We'll just do a cycle, a nice circular pattern cycle with Mohaka, and let Swarm and Maelstrom get their stacks down. Nice. Get a little bit extra damage on this one, since it seems to be dying a little slower than the others. Here we go. Nice. Pretty good. We move on to Portal 30. So now that we're at Portal 30, we have all info, which means we'll get a buff and a debuff from here on out. So our buff is 15% increase to raid damage, all raid damage, and 20% decrease to limb damage. Sterile, our decks are Fuse, Gas, Swarm, Ancestral Favor with Torso Focus, Armor with Limb, Purifying Blast with Body, Victory March with Grim Shadow, Limb Focus, and Whip with Blazing Inferno. So I think we probably better do deck 4, Purifying Blast. We do need to do a lot of damage to that torso, and I don't think this will do enough damage to the deck 2. I don't think it'll do enough damage to the head and the limbs, so we'll go ahead and go with deck 4 and just hope that we can chew through that armor real good. Starting on the hand, just got to get some bursty bursts from Purifying Blast. Thank goodness they increased its dependability by upping its burst chance. Man, especially when the armor gets low, it really sucks having to chew through. You know, when the burst goes off, it gets decreased. All right, there we go. Come on, let's go. 4 seconds. Let's go. Nah, we're so close. So close. I feel like that was still our best bet. If you do it, maybe start with the torso, and then save the quick transitions for the end there. It might help. I guess since I just have a little bit of torso left, I'll just go ahead and hit it with deck 2. Just like 3 or 4 bursts and it's good. There we go. And now we can move on to portal number 31. And we've got a Juck. Our info is affliction duration increase and burst damage decrease by 15%. We got Fuse, Gas, and Swarm. We got Body with Grim, Ancestral Favor, Clench, Barrage, and Flak. Ancestral Favor, Torso Focus, Armor with Limb, Head Focus with Haymaker, Victor March, Clench, Barrage, Razorwind, and Ancestral Favor with Head Focus. I think probably deck 3 is our best bet. Even though we have the damage debuff on bursts, it's still going to do enough damage to just take down those 3 or 4 parts. Make sure Flak does all the work on the legs. There we go. And finish off the head. Come on, Clench the Barrage. I need you to just start doing your job here. There we go. Awesome. Alright, so we've got that portal out of the way. We can move on to portal 32. And for portal 32, we've got a LoJack. Our info is Gas, Fuse, Swarm, Fuse, Prism, Swarm. We've got Gas, Thriving Plague, and Swarm. That's a pretty good one. Well, let's look at the info real quick. 25% increase to head damage and 20% decrease to all arm damage. Alright, so we've got Decaying Strike, Gas, and Swarm. Armor with Limb, Victor March with Grim. We've got Limb Focus with Decaying Strike and Thriving Plague, Blazing Inferno, and Gas. What was the other one? It's either 3 or 8. Probably 3 because I feel like 3 does a little bit more damage for me than 8 does, because Blazing Inferno is only level 13 for me, but Swarm is at level 24. So that's what we'll go with. And just make sure you get those Thriving Plague stacks down for sure on the head and the torso, and then everywhere else you could just kind of kill it with the Swarm stacks. Just kind of make sure those Swarm stacks stays on there. Wow, that's the first time I've had a head or torso part die before the limb parts. There we go. Not too bad. Alright, with that portal out of the way, we can move on to Portal 33. We've got a Mohawka. Let's look at our info first. We got 10% increase to support effects and 20% decrease to affliction duration. Alright, our decks are Fuse, Gas, and Swarm. That's actually a pretty good deck for this debuff, because Fuse is actually a debuff, or it's actually a buff when it's the affliction duration decrease. We got Radioactivity, Gas, and Swarm. We've got Decaying Strike, Gas, and Swarm. Armor Focus with Limb, Head with Haymaker, Totem with Purifying Blast, Limb Focus, and Thriving Plague with Limb Focus. So I'll go ahead and go with 1 again. Always make sure you get that stack of Fusion Bomb down on the head and the legs, because like I've said before, they have just a little bit more HP. I couldn't see if the bomb dropped. There we go. Move around, move around, move around. Back to here, back to here. There, we got it. Shoo, close one. That was a close one. Alright, moving on to Portal 34. We've got Attack Dar. Our info is 25% increase to burst damage and 50% increase to torso health. Alright, let's look at our decks. We got Ancestral Favor, Clinch, Barrage, Flak. That might be a good one for this one with the burst increase. We got Ancestral Favor, Clinch, Barrage, Moonbeam. And same thing with Razor Wind. All Armor Focus, Torso Focus with Totem. Ancestral Favor with Head Focus, Limb Focus with Decaying Strike, and Thriving Plague with Blazing Inferno. Yeah, we go with deck 1 with the burst, or with the Flak. I think we only need to take down 4 limb parts. Yeah, we'll just take down the legs and 2 arm parts, and let Flak do the rest of the work. Come on. There we go. Back to the head, then back to the torso. And it should be dead. Nice. Alright, we can move on to portal number 35. And for 35, we've got a Sterile. Our info is 25% increase to burst chance and 20% decrease to limb damage. Alright, we got Ancestral Favor, Clinch, Barrage, Flak. We got Thriving Plague, Swarm, and Gas. Armor with Limb again. We got Victory March, Clinch, Barrage, Razor Wind. Ancestral Favor with Head Focus. Thriving Plague, Blazing Inferno, and Gas. And Whip with Prismatic Rift and Blazing Inferno. What was it again? Burst chance. Alright, so we want to do deck 1. Pretty sure. Ancestral Favor, Clinch, Barrage, Flak. Flak down the armor on the hand and the leg. Come on, faster. There we go. And then get the armor on the head and the torso while letting the Flak do the work on the body. Finish off all body after that's done. A nice beefy torso to work down. There we go. We're good. Alright, moving on to Portal 36. We have got a Mohawka. Our info is 40% increase to affliction chance and 50% leg health increase. Okay. Legs are... I think we might be able to get away without doing the head again, but I'm not sure about that. Just the limbs, so we'll see. So, what was our info again? Affliction chance, leg health. Okay. So we got Ancestral Favor, Clinch, Barrage, Flak. Same thing with Razor Wind. Armor with Limb. Victory March with Grim Shadow. All armor focus. We got Ancestral Favor with Head Focus. We got Limb Focus with Decaying Strike and Thriving Plague with Limb Focus. We're going with Thriving Plague with Limb Focus. Just because I don't believe we have to hit the head at all on this one. With the legs, giving that nice beefy increase in HP. It makes it so that we can just take down all the limbs instead, and we should be good. I'm gonna eat my words here, aren't I? No, we're good. Yeah, I had a moment of doubt there when it was getting low and it seemed like I didn't have enough HP left to finish off the Titan. Awesome. All right, moving on to 37, we got Oakjack, and our decks are, oh, let's look at the info, sorry. 25% increase to head damage and 50% increase to limb health. Okay, our decks are Body with Grim, Head Focus with Haymaker, Victory March with Grim, All Armor Focus, Limb Focus with Decaying Strike, Victory March, Haymaker, Body Focus, Thriving Plague with Limb Focus, and Whip with Blazing Inferno and Prismatic Rift. So this might be our first legitimate 2-decker. We did have a different one that took 2 decks, but it was just because I made a mistake on my deck choice. But I think we will be doing 2 decks for this one for sure. So I'm going to go ahead and start out with deck 7, and definitely plan on taking down the limbs. Then we'll come back with one of our Victory March decks and finish it off. Alright. And just get some good Thriving Plague stacks on both of those head and torso pieces. But we're trying to get these limbs to disappear, so don't ignore them. There we go. Can we get any armor? Oh yeah, looks like we got the head armor. We may be able to get the torso armor too. Yep, we got both armors. Awesome. 3.58 million damage. Not too shabby. Let's look at our second deck. We've got head and torso. I don't want to use 3 because of how long it takes for Grim Shadow to ramp up, but it looks like probably our next choice is going to be 6. So we'll go Victory March Haymaker with Body Focus and just take down the torso first. Boom. Oh, I only did 180? Wow. Okay. Wow, okay. I'm not sure why, but didn't need to touch the head hardly. Oh, it's because the limb increase. I forgot about that. Or something increase. One of the body parts had increased HP. All right, moving on. This is portal number 38. We've got a Juck. Our info is 25% increase to infliction damage, 15% decrease to burst damage. So infliction will definitely be the better choice here. Got Ancestor Favorite Torso Focus. We got Purifying Blast with Body Focus. Limb with Armor. Ancestor Favorite. Sorry, Clanship Barrage, Victory March, and Razor Wind. We got Purifying Blast with Totem. We got Ancestral Fair with Head Focus. We got Thriving Plague, Blazing Inferno, and Gas. And we've got Whip, Blazing Inferno, and Prismatic Rift. I think deck 7 is our best bet here. And with Juck, we can just avoid the torso and just go around the circle. Make sure you get those Thriving Plague stacks on the head and the legs, just because they're just a bit beefier than the arm parts. There we go. There we go. Yeah, just focused on that head. We can kill those too. There we go. Nice. Alright, moving on. Portal 39 is our next portal. And we've got Sterile. Our info is 25% increase to burst chance and 20% decrease to leg damage. Okay. Our decks are Fuse, Gas, and Swarm. Fuse, Prismatic Rift, and Swarm. Body Focus with Grim. Ancestral Favor, Clanship Barrage, and Flak. It's probably a good one for this one. We got Gas, Acid Drench, and Swarm. Victory March with Grim. Thriving Plague with Limb Focus. And we've got Thriving Plague, Blazing Inferno, and Gas. Then I'm going to go with deck 4 with our burst chance increase. That's good. And we can completely avoid the legs to avoid the debuff and just hit a hand, a shoulder, and a second shoulder, and focus down the head and then the torso. Back to the head after the armor's gone, and then back to the torso and finish it off there. There we go. Good. Moving on to portal number 40. We've got a sterile. Our info is 15% increase to raid damage and 80% all burst chance decreased. Or, I mean, it's only 80% burst chance, which is a decrease of 20%. Okay, so our decks are Fuse, Gas, Swarm, Ancestral Favor, Clinch It, Barrage, and Flak. Gas, Acid Drench, and Swarm. Purifying Blast with Body Focus. Victory March with Grim. Limb Focus with Decaying Strike. Thriving Plague with Limb Focus. Thriving Plague, Blazing Inferno, and Gas. I'll go deck 2, I believe. Yeah, deck 2 is our best bet here. So with Sterile, we can focus down one hand, get that armor down, focus a leg next, get the armor down. Flak's doing its job on those exposed body parts. There we go, and then the torso. And then after torso armor is gone, we can go back to the head, and then back to the torso again. And that should be it. Clench It, Barrage is taking its sweet time to proc, so nothing like stressing you out a little bit while you're trying to finish it off. And we can move on to Portal 41. Portal 41's got a Juck. Our info is 40% increase to affliction chance and 50% head health. Okay, so if we have 50% head health, we can actually probably ignore 2 of the arms, I believe. Let's look at our decks. Yeah, we do have a good deck. So let's take a look here. Ancestral Favor, Clinch It, Barrage, Flak. Ancestral Favor with Torso Focus. We've got Head Focus with Haymaker. Victory March, Clinch It, Barrage, Razor Wind. All Armor Focus. Torso Focus with Totem. Ancestral Favor with Head Focus. And Thriving Plague with Limb Focus. I'm going to go with deck 1. And I can ignore 2 limbs. Or sorry, 2 of the arms. Just hit that head. Oh, sorry. We go 2 arms first. I'm an idiot. There we go. Now back to the head. And then to the torso. There we go. Back to the head. Wow. Back to the torso. And I think this should finish it off. Yeah. There we go. So 2 hands, head, and torso. Or alternatively, you could just go head, torso, and 1 leg, like you do on tarot normally with the burst deck. Alright, we can move on to 42. Juck. Our info is 25% increase to head damage and minus 20% torso damage. So we can just avoid the torso, it's no problem. Let's look at our decks. We got Gas, Maelstrom, Swarm. Ancestral Favor, Torso Focus. Ancestral Favor, Clinch It, Barrage, Psychic Chain. Same thing with Razor Wind. Armor with Limb. Another armor. Oh no, this is just pure armor. Torso Focus with Totem. And our last deck's Whip, Blazing Inferno with Prismatic Rift. Was it again? Head damage increase. Alright, so let's go ahead and go with deck 1. We can just avoid the torso and cycle around on the rest of those body parts. Get those Maelstrom stacks down. Oh man, somehow we're hitting the torso anyway. I didn't really want to, but I must have accidentally scrolled over it. They were supposed to fix that where the shoulder, when you go in between the shoulder and the head, you hit the torso somehow. Or maybe my aim is just really bad. That's probably it. But we got it. Okay. And let's move on to Portal 43. So for Portal 43, we've got Takdar. Our info is 20% increase to body damage and 15% decrease to affliction damage. Our decks are Ancestral Favor, Torso Focus, Thriving Plague, Gas, and Swarm. Blazing Inferno, Gas, and Swarm. We got Body Focus with Purifying Blast, Limb with Armor Focus, Head Focus with Haymaker, Torso Focus with Totem, and Victory March, Haymaker, and Body Focus. I think deck 2 is our best bet here. Was it a decrease to burst? Oh, decrease to affliction. That's okay. We can chew through the armor, and then we got the buff to negate the debuff. I'll just make sure I focus on the legs and the head and the torso more than I do the arms. There we go. I already got one of the legs. That's pretty good. Five, four, three, two. We got it. Not bad. Okay, we can move on now to Portal 44. And for 44, we've got a sterile. Our info is 20% increase to body damage and 20% decrease to limb damage. Okay, so we got Fuse with Prism and Swarm. We got Body Focus with Grim. Ancestral Favor Clinch with Barrage Flak. Purifying Blast with Body Focus. Head with Haymaker. Torso with Totem. We got Ancestral Favor with Head Focus. Thriving Plague, Blazing Inferno, and Gas. So limb damage is increased or decreased, body damage is increased. All right, we can go with deck 3. Yep, deck 3 is good, and we'll just take down one arm piece, and then one leg piece. Switch to the head, then to the torso armor. Let Flak keep doing its work on the body. Back to the head, back to the torso. And we're good. Nice. Alright, we can move on to our next portal, which is Portal 45. So for 45, we've got a Tarot. Our info is 15% increase to all raid damage and 15% decrease to armor damage. Alright, so armor is normal. The body will die 15% damage bonus. So our decks are Fuse, Prism, and Swarm. Purifying Blast with Body Focus. Victory March, Clinch, Barrage, Razorwind. Torso Focus with Totem. Purifying Blast with Totem. That's a good one. We got Ancestral Favor with Head Focus. Thriving Plague with Limb Focus. And Thriving Plague, Blazing Inferno, and Gas. I'm going to go with deck 5. Deck 5 is my choice here. We only have 3 parts to take down. We'll start on the torso. Get that focus down with the fairies and the Purifying Blast. And then switch to the head. There we go. Come on, fairies. Head for the head. There we go. Nice. And then to one of the legs. Just sit there. Wait for the fairies to come and take it down. Awesome. Alrighty. Moving on to portal number 46. We're cruising this week. We might get this done before the Mimu crashes. Alright, we got a Mohawk. Our info is 10% increase to support effects and 15% decrease to increase to arm health. Arm health. Might be okay. So this might be a situation where we can just take down the limbs on Mohawk, but we'll see. We got Fuse, Gas, Swarm. We got Ancestral Favor, Clinch, Barrage, and Flak. We've got Purifying Blast with Body Focus. We've got Victory March with Grim. Torso Focus with Totem. We got Victory March, Haymaker, Body Focus, Thriving Plague, Blazing Inferno, and Gas, and Whip with Prismatic Rift and Blazing Inferno. Support effects increase. Okay, let's go ahead and use Ancestral Favor, Clinch, Barrage, Flak. And I think we can do it all without touching the head. So focus down the arm parts, which are a little bit thinner than the other parts. Get the armor off. Switch to the legs. There we go. We got one piece with Flak. There we go. Get that leg. Come on, leg. And then this leg. Got him. Excellent. Let's move on. Portal number 47. Did we crash? No, we did not crash. Awesome. It's a sterile. Our info is 25% increase to limb damage and 50% increase to limb health. Alright. So we've got Fuse with Gas and Swarm. Body Focus with Grim. We've got Ancestral Favor, Clinch, Barrage, and Flak. That's probably going to be my pick. Same thing with Razorwind. Same thing with Skull Bash. We got Limb with Armor. Purifying Blast with Body, and Ancestral Favor with Head Focus. I'm going with Ancestral Favor, Clinch, Barrage, and Flak. And we could just take down the leg, Because of our limb HP increase, we go for the leg armor, back to the head armor, let that flak do its work on the body, switch to the torso, and back to the head, torso again. There we go. And then the leg. There we go. Not bad. Continuing on to 48. We've got a Juck. Our info is 25% increase to burst damage and 50% increase to armor health. So we can avoid the armor health by just avoiding the arms and just hitting the head, torso, and leg. Let's see, we got Fuse, Gas, and Swarm, Body Focus with Grim, Ancestral Favor with Torso. We got Thriving Plague, Gas, and Swarm, Blazing Inferno, Gas, and Swarm. We got Purifying Blast with Body Focus, Ancestral Favor, Clench, Barrage, and Frag. That might be a good one, I think. And then we got Thriving Plague with Limb. We're going with Deck 7, Ancestral Favor, Clench, Barrage, Fragmentize. And we're going to avoid the arms and just hit the leg. Oh man, I can't remember what part got the debuff. I think it was the arms. Not 100% sure on that, but it should be okay. Take down the head first. Come on, Clench Barrage, I need you to ramp up faster. Onto the torso. Yeah, we're good. No problem. Alright, moving on to portal number 49. So for 49 we got another Juck. Our info is 25% increase to burst chance and 20% decrease to affliction duration. Alright. Our decks are Fuse with Prismatic Rift and Swarm, Body Focus with Grim, Ancestral Favor, Clench Barrage, Moonbeam. We've got Limb with Armor Focus, Ancestral Favor, Clench Barrage, Fragmentize. We got Victor March with Grim, all Armor Focus, and Limb Focus with Decaying Strike. I think we go Deck 3 as our pretty obvious winner here, and just go for as few targets as possible. Start on the head, and just work our way down. And just wait for Clench Barrage to ramp up here. It'll go a lot faster once we hit the torso, because we'll be ramped up and we're using Moonbeam. There we go. And then all's left after this is just to take out the legs. There we go. That went well. Let's move on to portal number 40. 50. We're to the last one. No crashes with me, but that's awesome. It's a Juck. Our info is 15% increase to raid damage and 50% head health increase. Great. That means we just do a head, torso, and one leg. We got Fuse with Gas and Swarm, Body Focus with Grim, Ancestral Favor with Torso, Thriving Plague, Gas, and Swarm. We got Ancestral Favor, Clench, Barrage, Razorwind. That's a good one. Purifying Blast with Body Focus with Totem, and Limb Focus with Decaying Strike. I'm going to go with deck number 2. Wait, where was it? Deck number 5, sorry. Deck number 5, Ancestral Favor, Clench, Barrage, and Razorwind. And we'll just do the head first. I like to start up on the higher targets when using Clench Barrage if possible, because if you finish off on the lower targets, you have more, or it takes less time for the missiles to hit the lower targets. And I feel like you get those hits in sometimes that you might not have gotten in had you been focused on a higher target. There we go. That's it. Got them all done. No problems. I think we only had 2 Titans. Might have been 3, but I think it was only 2 Titans that we had to use 2 decks on. So this might have been actually a slightly easier solo raid week than usual. But we're done now, which is awesome. Make sure you go back to your settings and hit your raid retry back on, so that when you do your next clan raid, you won't have to worry about messing up your rerolls. And also, any comments that you have or criticisms, please leave in the comments below so I can know how to make my videos better. And just leave a like and subscribe if you feel like it. And I'll see you next week. Have a good week. Bye bye.